Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. This is a very late new comic book day video. Yes, I know, another one. I'm sorry about that. January is not my month, let me tell you. Okay, let's see. This past new comic book day was January 17th. So, this is how I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to show you what's in the bag. Then I'm going to show you what I recommend from the bag, and then I'm going to show you the stories I've already read and why I recommend them. Okay. Justice League number 37 from DC Comics. Christopher Priest is the new writer for Justice League. Did I say Justice League of America? I mean, I'm saying Justice League. Justice League. Christopher Priest, the new writer. This is a story called The People versus the Justice League. It's getting very good, very fast. I'm enjoying it a lot. And I believe there's I do believe you should check it out because this whole story arc, The People versus the Justice League, is very good. Nightwing number 37. Nightwing has a new writer, Sam Humphries, I believe. And I haven't read it yet, but I really like the cover. There's a really good cover here. And is Batman in this one? Or it looks like this might maybe a flashback issue. Just from, flipping through this. So Nightwing is a good book. I do recommend Nightwing. Now this next one, it's one that I enjoy, but I know it's not for everyone. Bombshells United number 10 takes place in 1943. And I haven't read it yet, but I do like that cover. Very nice, interesting. And I'm not sure who that is down there. But Bombshells United is currently very interesting, at least to me. Next up, next we have some. Well, I'm going to skip over. Well, no, I'm not going to skip. Next four are from Marvel. Weapon X number 13. Some people trashed Weapon X when they came out with this new story arc called Nuclear War. I don't know why, because it was a good story. I enjoyed it. Haven't read this one yet, but I dig the cover. I do. Now, this is kind of strange, I have to admit, for a cover. Avengers 676. This past week, when 675 came out, they started a new story arc called No Surrender, which is supposed to last for 16 issues. I read somewhere. And here, this cover has an old Avengers cover on it here, with a little change. This dame here, her name's Voyager. I don't know that much about her. I just know she was alluded to in Marvel Legacy number 1, and at the end of Avengers 675, she was the big reveal on the last page. But this cover, while it looks kind of strange, it looks kind of interesting at the same time. I do not like that Marvel is still charging the $3.99 price. Whoops. Almost dropped everything on my lap on the floor. Whew. I do not like that Marvel's still charging the $3.99 price for Avengers, because they're putting this out every week. I mean, every single week. At least while they're doing this story arc called No Surrender. And that's a pretty hefty price. So come April, if this story arc isn't finished and they go back to monthly, I'll have to put this back for a couple weeks, because in April comes out the hardback version of Action Comics 1000, and it's 394 pages long, with a lot of stories that are old that I have not read before. And then in March comes Action Comics 1000, the actual issue, which I'm not sure, but I've read on Twitter that part of it's being written by Brian Michael Bendis, part of it's being written by Tom King. I look forward to I would look forward to this, but not because of Tom King, because he recently just ruined Batman. I mean, he did. But if you want to check out a mysterious story, get Avengers 675, read it all the way to the end. Then if you are still wondering what's going on, if you want to know more, get 676. Alright. Next up, also from Marvel, is the Mighty Thor 703. The Death of the Mighty Thor. Now, Jane Foster is not on this cover, except up here. Now, this is strange because this tells me who's in the comic book. But on the cover is Odin's son, the original Mighty Thor. So let's see. Who's in this one? I'm going to flip through. Who do I see? Jane Foster or Odin's son? Okay, here's Falcon. Jane Foster. I'm not sure if it's a flashback. It's a flashback. Odin's son. Jane Foster in the hospital. Let's see who else we got here. A lot of violent action, but I like it. Advertisements for some upcoming issues. And Jane Foster really does not look good in this issue. I mean, she looks like she's on her deathbed, and it's due to cancer. Yeah. So this looks like it's going to be an interesting issue. So I do recommend that you pick up the Mighty Thor as it's right now, with this story arc, The Death of the Mighty Thor, because I want to see how that turns out. Okay, next up from Marvel Comics, X-Men Gold number 20. The X-Men Gold team is currently, most of them are currently trapped in the negative zone. I don't know how to explain that, so I won't try. But it's a gripping tale, and it has excellent artwork, excellent dialogue. I mean, for myself, it's one page to the next. I'm wondering what's going to happen next. So, pick up X-Men Gold right now. And if you aren't collecting it, you should be. Next up, Green Lanterns, number 39 from DC Comics. This is always a good book. I have not read one issue of Green Lanterns since Rebirth began in 2016 that was bad. I have not, because this book has constantly had great writers. I mean, I think, and great artists. It's so good that I can't even be lost in who the writers and artists are, but I'm trying to pay more attention to who that is. Okay, next up from DC Comics, Trinity number 17. No Home for You Here, Part 1. Strangers in a Savage World. It almost looks like they're in the Savage Land, but that's from the X-Men comics from the Marvel Universe. But some people have said, oh, I don't like Trinity. It's a slow book. Well, that's maybe their opinion, but I've always enjoyed Trinity. I have. I've found it to be really engaging. Now, I don't know why I picked up this one and I didn't pick up issue 22, but I'll have to go back for that. Power Rangers. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, number 23. I need to get 22. Issue 22. And let me see. Is this when they begin? There's going to be a crossover. I'm not sure if it's starting with this issue or issue 24. But I think this might be the start of the crossover, because it has to do with Lord Draken, which is an alternate version of Tommy Oliver that is like the White Ranger and the Green Ranger mixed together, all evil. And the crossover is going to be with Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers, yes, the other Power Rangers comic book from Boom Studios. And you're thinking, that doesn't make any sense. You're right, it doesn't. But the Power Rangers are going to, from what I've read, travel the timeline. And they're going to interact with other Power Rangers from history. Let's see, what can I remember? Just off the top of my head, Power Rangers Dino Charge, Power Rangers Time Force, Power Rangers Ninja Steel, and maybe Power Rangers Dino Thunder. I'm not, and maybe Power Rangers RPM. I'm not sure, but with all these other teams, it sounds like it should be good. Maybe a little bit confusing, because it's almost like rewriting Power Rangers history. Okay, next up from DC Comics. I'm a little bit late on getting this one, but I do like this cover. Mr. Miracle number 5, written by Tom King. He's been doing good on this. He really fumbled the ball with Batman 39. I mean, he fumbled the ball so bad that it was literally like handing the ball over to the opposing team. Yeah, I shudder to think of that issue. But Mr. Miracle has been a good, but no, for crying out loud. There's a quote at the top here from a YouTube channel. This brilliant comic feels like nothing else on the stands. A new and haunting vision of DC's new gods that will leave you begging for more. Nerdist. Maybe I'm thinking of Nerkish. But really, Nerdist? Oh, what is that? I don't think I've ever heard of Nerdist before. I was thinking of Nerkish. Hey, boy. When DC starts quoting, websites that I've never heard of before, I really have to start wondering. Okay, there's 5 more. Got them down here on the floor. I've already read them. Alright, these 5 are good stories. You should be picking up these stories. Now, these are in no particular order. Well, except the last one. It's really bad. It's not good. Excuse me. It was the first one out of the bunch that I did read because I wanted to know how bad it was. But first up we have Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 298, written by Chip Zdarsky. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it or not. But when they switched over to the legacy numbering, beginning with Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 297, that's when his writing really began to pick up, I think. It really got better, and he improved a whole lot. You know, Peter Parker is not the poor man's Tony Stark anymore like he was in The Amazing Spider-Man. At least not in this comic book. I mean, I remember when I read The Amazing Spider-Man number 1 that came out in 2016 when they rebooted the line. Ugh, I could not stand it. But pick up Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man now by Chip Zdarsky because it's getting good. It's like it's sort of like James Bond, but done Spider-Man style, in a way. Okay, I want to save my favorite out of these 5 for last. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way because I am so disgusted with this. Batman number 39. I do not recommend you picking this comic book up at all. I highly recommend against it. Yeah, the artwork is good. Yes, the artwork is good. But the story is... oh, gosh. If you've been following Batman, you know that Bruce Wayne recently proposed to Selena Kyle. And she said yes. So they've been engaged since issue 33. And now this comic book comes out that Tom King wrote, where somehow Batman and Wonder Woman go to this weird dimension where, you know, people with powers have no effect. They go there to give this guy a break because he's been fighting this war for 1,000 years, but in the real world he's only been gone a year. But in that dimension he's been there 1,000 years because time passes differently. And so Batman and Wonder Woman are the only ones that go. And this comic book, it just has it has a lot of sexist tropes, and I'm talking sexist from the female point of view. Don't buy this at all. I'm hoping Tom King gets his act together and fixes this in the next issue, because this is garbage. I mean, don't buy this at all. Do not buy issue 39, except if you like the artwork. I mean, that's the artwork. It's pretty nice, but the story inside is utter garbage. Okay. Supersons number 12. The finale of Supersons of Tomorrow. This is an excellent story. This has been a crossover of Supersons, Superman, and Teen Titans. And every issue of this crossover has been great. Written by Peter J. Tomasi. He is excellent at what he does. He is excellent. I highly recommend you pick up the Supersons book. I do, because it is a great series. The annual was confusing, but the series itself, this is just fun. It's great. I highly recommend it. I mean, both characters, John Kent, Superboy, Daniel Wayne, Robin, Tomasi is showing them grow as characters. Where at first, Damian sort of tolerated Jonathan, but now it's different. Okay. This one is the Invincible Iron Man. $5.95 from Marvel Comics. This is the continued story arc, The Search for Tony Stark. They actually find him this time, or at least it seems like it. This story is filled with suspense and a little bit of humor. I enjoyed every minute of it, and this is written by Brian Michael Bendis. One of his last few comics for Marvel Comics, and I enjoyed this story. So if you've been following this story arc, the Search for Tony Stark, I would recommend this. Now, like I said, I've read 5 comic books out of the ones that I purchased on New Comic Book Day, which was technically for me it was a Friday because my week was so messed up. Well, I'm not even going to go into it because that's like personal information. I really don't want to share that. It was just a rough week. Let me put it that way. But I didn't get to the comic shop till Friday, which would have been the 19th. The best story out of the 5 that I have read is this one. Superman number 39 from DC Comics, called Good Night Moon. I think that's the name of it. And this is a self-contained story. It's not a continuation or anything. It's a wonderful story of showing the best that humanity has to offer through the eyes of Superman and the Justice League. And believe it or not, even Batman smiles in here. He does. Peter J. Tomasi does an excellent job at writing this. He does. DC should put him on Batman because I think he would do Batman a lot better than Tom King is right now. I've loved some of Tom King's Batman, and I've not loved some of his Batman. Sometimes he has some good issues, and sometimes some of the Batman issues he writes aren't so great. That's just how I feel. But I do recommend you pick up Superman, the series. It's been rebooted since 2016. It's a great series, and it just keeps getting better with each issue. And this one brought tears to my eyes. It brought tears to my eyes. Out of these 5 stories, this is the best. This is the best one that I read out of those 5 stories. And of course, Batman 39, that was just horrible. What Tom King has done to Batman. I really hope that he fixes that in the next issue, because I'm not the only person who feels this way. There are a lot of other people who feel this way as well. Because he is... I can't even bring myself to go into it right now. But that's my review of New Comic Book Day for the week of January 17. 2018. So, what did you pick up on New Comic Book Day? Let me know down in the comments. And if there's any one of these that you would like me to review, just leave a comment and I'll do it. And I'm still working on those Weapon X reviews, because it's going to lead into a new series that Marvel is going to start called Weapon H. And I don't know how that's going to go over. At least it's going to be based off of a whole new character. But anyway, like I said, let me know what you thought about New Comic Book Day for the past week. What did you buy? Let me know what you want me to review. Thank you for stopping by Spirit Comics. I am Michael, the host. Please do subscribe if you're new to my channel. Also, smash that notification bell like She-Hulk, so you'll be notified of all new uploads. And also, please do like this video and share it with others. Till next time, readers.